I'll put my on, so...
Test, test, test. Hello. Cool. Turn it back off for a minute.
Oh, I've got your audio now. You are using the 2 channels through your camera. Oh. Oh, so good. Okay, that's good. Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Darcy Street for this WSL matchup between South Hobart and Devonport. Lovely sunny day down here at Darcy Street. Bit of a contrast to yesterday if you're tuning into that one on the live stream. Ground still wearing the effects from the men's NPL game, but we should gear up for a top-of-the-table clash in the WSL. See the South team just lining up to give Devonport a guard of honour. They've been crowned champions last week with the result down at KG5, and so I'm very respectful of the South team to line up for the guard of honour. Here come the Devonport side. They're taking a bit of a unusual route for this, but they'll lead their team through the guard of honour as champions. We'll have a proper ceremony for that at their home game next week. So no trophy presentation today, as far as I know. But a good, again, show of respect for this incredible season that the Devonport Strikers have embarked upon and achieved some great things and been an absolute powerhouse. So Georgia King will lead their troops through the guard. After that lovely display of sportsmanship, there is a game to be played after. And I think with this South team, it's been an up and down season after such a clinical performance last season going undefeated. Devonport will have that circled on their calendar, see if they can't finish out the last couple of rounds unbeaten. And I think for South, this will be their grand final. See if they can't get one result to blot the copybook of this Devonport side, and for their sake, have a little bit of bragging rights. It's been a bit of a tough period, as I said earlier, by South Hobart. Already injury-ravaged season, you have to say. Lucy Roberts missing the entire season out in the Summer Cup final. Pishon Choi also going down in the last few rounds as well. Two really key players, and I think if they had gone a little bit differently, maybe it'd be a tighter tussle at the top of the table. Devonport, to their immense credit, have also been absolutely clinical this season, scoring boatloads of goals, especially in the last few rounds. And they're also a hard defence to break down, so Tom Ballantyne and Georgia King have to be very proud of their team. As the captains go through the last formalities, I'll run you through the teams very briefly. So for South Hobart, the home team in red, Casey Ponting in goals with Aaliyah Browning. Sophie Westwood, who's come back off a bit of a long-term injury over the last few weeks, finding a little bit of form recently. Gracie Baez, Bridget Wright, who's been a mainstay in the team, with Lucy Booth coming to the midfield, Josie Mamich, Ruby Batchelor, Sammy Watkins, Nikki Matsatos, who got on the score sheet last week, and Chelsea Sega to round out the 11 for South. And Devonport in the yellow will have Georgia Anderson in goals, who's played there in the last few weeks, but it's been a bit of a revolving door since Michaela Mitchell has gone down with injury. They've had a lot of fill-ins, but she's in there at the moment with Danielle Capel, Georgia King, and Annalie Bidwell being in the centre-back position. Sam Hardy gets a start with Lucy Foote, Abby White, Whitney Knight, Elizabeth Sullivan, Emily Smith, and Holly Emmett to round out the 11 for the strikers. It's Danielle Capel just being the last bits of equipment. I think there's a missing shin pad for someone, maybe Sullivan missing shin pads. So she's just got to get them sorted out. Just a slight delay for the right fullback coming all the way across the field. And Mamich will stand over the ball. I said, title race may be over, but I feel for pride's sake, there's a lot to play for today for both teams. Devonport maintaining this unbeaten streak, and South Hobart looking to end it, so they'll be ready to go. And Mamich and Westwood get us underway. And it's a nice bit of play by Browning. And she passes a little bit over here. And Whitney Knight's in behind Sega, goes around the outside, but is offside. A bit of direct play, and really the danger player of the tournament, the league so far. I think there's really no question to who will be the MVP of the WSL this season. Awards night coming up in a few weeks. I don't know if there's any other contenders really, just the amount of goals she's scored, but also just the focal point that she gives Devonport in attack. She's playing an out-and-out striker this week. No Grace Sims, who's been in there for Devonport most of the season, really. Still a young player, but really nailed down that striker position at her own, as her own. And for South, they've lined up a little bit different. Again, with Choi and Roberts out, they've had this difficulty, I guess, filling their defensive midfielder role. And Westwood's actually stepped up. She's playing in the hole today. Here's Watkins. She's out on the left-hand side to start. Versatile player who plays either wing. Barnstorming up the wing is Foote. Emily Smith, who will come in for Sims. Her Knight and Capel look like they'll rotate through that top kind of 3 position, with Knight dropping in a little bit more. There's a bit of a false 9. I think that's actually not a bad play. Little match-up between her and Westwood. Westwood will probably almost mark Knight a little bit more here. Batchelor's little flick up in the air is fairly effective in the end, but Knight tries and streak away with it. It's a nice, interesting ball, but it's a bit behind her. That comes into Knight. One of the ball early for the Devonport start. And South try and work it out at defence, and they can't find the right combination. Another interesting little, I guess, tactical tweak here from Alistair Russell on the South Hobart bench is Watkins playing on the left. She's been playing interchangeably on either wing this season. Booth has had a little bit of trouble, but Foot and Wright able to slow down the attack just a little bit. Booth gets it back. Big challenge by Smith. He's Knight. He can't give her any space at all. Watkins does enough to slow her down. Ball goes out wide. Sullivan, decent ball in, and that's an excellent challenge from Bridget Wright. Had to make an intervention and puts it out for a corner. Devonport just starting a little bit more brightly than South Hobart here. I think getting Whitney Knight on the ball, always a good sign for them, and just being able to push them forward just a little bit more. Her ball's not the best. Baez misses it, but Sartos clears. And for South Hobart, they've had a bit of a mental block with Devonport this season. I have to say, I don't know if they've really figured out the best way to approach the strikers this season. I think in that first game, where you'd probably say South were the favourites, just pushing up a little bit too high and got really caught on the break. And then last couple of contests have been closer, but Devonport able to control it just a bit more through their possession. I think they've really grown into that this season. I know Georgia King talked about this a lot in pre-season and in the early games, the Summer Cup, that just changing their style just a little bit this season, Devonport, and you can really see the results of that. That's probably not the best exponent of it there, with Annalie Bidwell just roofing it out of play. I guess that just shows the versatility, and I think that's probably some of the more effective teams, I guess, so they can do a number of things and be versatile. They can sit back and defend when they need to. As I said in that first matchup, where Devonport soaked up a lot of pressure all game and just hit them on the break. They also dynamic enough to play possession football, play quicker football if they want to. Might be a little bit less on the cards today without Grace Sims up there, but King does loop it up to Foot. It's on the charge. And Bridget Wright in and under again. She's had a great season, just adapting into the centre-back position. It's a good foot in by Batchelor. And we've been extremely crucial back there, Bridget Wright. I know Josie Mamich will probably win their best and fairest, but keen watchers of the WSL say Bridget Wright maybe have a bit of a shot for South Hobart in that award come end of the season. Just packing the paint a little bit here, South. They're getting a few more numbers defensive centrally and making it a little bit challenging for Devonport to play through. I think having Westwood in the hole there will help them in that respect. Really seasoned defender herself. It's Hardy. Foot. And out of play. Foot looking ominous today. Been streaking up that right-hand side. Nodded down into the direction of Knight. Wright tries to clear. Capel plays it over to Foot. Takes a touch and well robbed by Batchelor. Had to be there. Just couldn't sort her feet out. And that is the muddy part of the ground over there. I will say, end of the season, especially after a few wet and wild games here at Darcy Street, it's probably copped some of the worst weather and being played on it, at least down here at South. Kingborough just have slightly different timings where they haven't had quite as many wet weather games, and obviously KG5, the artificial pitch. That very muddy down on the left of screen box. And that could cause some issues for both teams here. See that with Foot not being able to sort of feed out. Which will be looking to get back in here. South, step up. Try and get Devonport offside. King's over it. She may elect to shoot here. Georgia King with a bit of a looping effort. Looking for the back post. Not found. Devonport with the control early. It's a bit of a dangerous ball from Ponting, but it was on. Westwood met by about 3 or 4 different shirts. And that's an excellent ball up to Mamich. Now South trying to hit them in flow. Mamich's ball's a little bit far in front of Booth. It was a nice bit of structured play out from South, but they just haven't quite had the fluidity yet. Missed a couple of those sorts of passes that might have really released them into some attacking positions, and hasn't worked out so far. Emmett. Ball goes through Capel's legs. King hooks it into a little bit of a dangerous area, but Emmett plays it to Hardy. She gets fouled. Byers just mistiming her challenge. Mitsatsos trying to block the quick free. I think Mitsatsos was in her right to try and block that. I wanted to take it quickly. The referee describing otherwise, so I have to defer to man in the middle. It's lovely footwork by Knight. Sets it onto the back post. Puts in space, but runs out of it. It's a nice ball up to Teed at the top of the box and away by Gracie Baez. Just the pace with which Devonport are attacking through there. Very, very dangerous. His foot again. Looped up over Ponting and in! And the cartwheel to finish. Lucy Foot with a goal from a crazy angle. It surprised the keeper. It surprised us up here in the stands. And she's scored a few from ridiculous angles and ridiculous ranges this season. And there's another one. And Devonport, 10 minutes into this game, 1-0 up. And they've had all of the control so far. And just a signifier of how this season's gone for them. Play with that sort of pace and take chances. They'll put you in games. And South Hobart have been a little bit this season having to go to the drawing board. And it's fired Devonport up a little bit here. Of a 50-50 contest in the middle. Abby White getting involved now. Hasn't seen too much of the ball so far. Batchelor. She'll just try and play it out. Ponting. It's a dangerous ball. Foot plays to Knight. Both of them can shoot from literally anywhere. His foot again for a second into the matter of minutes. Well over the bar. After miraculous effort on last attempt. That one sat up a little bit better, but again, it's in that muddy patch. And I wouldn't want to deal with a bobbling ball coming across my plate in that sort of area. No, it's not the best ball again. His foot doesn't find its way tonight. She doesn't make a mistake this time. It's 2 in 2 minutes for Devonport. And the forward pressure absolutely causing havoc for South Hobart at the moment. And Whitney Knight has been, well, just as I said earlier, front runner for the MVP this season. Can't stop her from scoring at the moment. Doesn't matter, short range, long range. She's in and amongst the goals. And mentally, South Hobart have to regroup here. Devonport playing with such confidence at the moment. And it seems to be growing every week here in the WSL. Just here, Alistair Russell on the sideline, just trying to get his players a little bit more engaged. Started with a little bit of intent off the kickoff, but Devonport have just brought energy. They just look faster and stronger at the moment. South have some good players that just got to get themselves engaged into the game. It has been a long season for both teams, but South in particular, wearing a lot of injuries and kind of disrupted year, you'd say in some ways, with cancellations and the bye structure that the WSL's had this season. And without as deep of a cup run as Devonport, they've had a bit of a choppy year, you'd have to say. And Sullivan on the 50-50 ball, and Westwood wins it. And again, South can't get any rhythm out of their defence at the moment. Sometimes Devonport's sitting 4 attackers high. Knight playing as a shadow striker almost. She'll drop deep. Very, very hard to track her runs because just the way she moves through that forward line. And Emily Smith, probably the nominal striker here today for Devonport. But she'll just drift out wide and then Knight will fill the hole. Here is Smith. Putting Wright under pressure, and all she can do is put her out of play. Ball coming in and away by Wright. See how far the fullbacks are pushed up here. Sullivan all the way up. Sullivan will try and throw it back in again. It's just a lot of traffic over there. Byers looks for the space. Salsos takes it down well. Again, just running through that muddy area. Definitely the worst of it down this side of the ground. That's a lovely touch. And good use of the body from Capel. Just floats it into Casey Ponting. Bit of a skewed footy kick out. Foot trying to flick it through into Smith. Hardy. Abby White just recycling. And Bidwell to King. Emmett's clearance is blocked, and South trying to, again, get that energy up, but it's just the possession phase of the game they can't get themselves into still. All Devonport at the moment. I just want 2 or 3 minute period where South can possess the football. It's nicely done by Browning. Sells it short for Booth, and White with a nice ball forward. He's Knight. Right again. Push it right. Really just having to do so much dog defensive work for South Hobart. Hardy. Might be onside there. Knight's come through. It's Whitney Knight all alone, and she puts it away again. Little slot into the side netting. South Hobart looking for the offside flag, and it never came. And Whitney Knight with a brace inside of 20 minutes. You just cannot stop her from scoring. Some movement, ghosting in behind South Hobart defence. I think Sega was aware to Smith. I think Smith potentially was offside, and they were just standing off her, expecting it to kind of get called, but she didn't interfere in the end, and Knight just barnstormed her way around Ponting and put it away. You just see that experience playing at the then W League level. Really sets an example for sort of level that I guess the rest of the competition has to get to, and made an absolutely massive impact in this game. It's nicely done by Byers. Sega, she had a bit of an option out wide, but didn't like to take it. And now South Hobart trying to build a bit of possession, but 3-0 down inside 20 minutes. A lot of work to do. They'll need to pull one back. Fairly short order here. And if this remains, well, I don't want to think too far into the game yet. There's still a long way to go in this one, but a little bit of a tough weekend for South Hobart as a club, going down late against Devonport. Somewhat controversially with the penalty involved. It sort of swung the pendulum back in the title race in favour of Knights and potentially the strikers themselves. Here's Westwood. That's an interesting searching ball for Matsatsos. Booth. Matsatsos' ball is a little bit undercooked. Byers unable to come away with it. King, that's classily done, and sends another channel ball up in the capital direction. Booth working hard though. Manages it with it well, and Ponting. Distribution a little bit wayward on that occasion. Right, looks to clear. Hardy, King. Hardy again. Well, cut out by Batchelor. Byers was looking to release Watkins early. He's got a bit of a skid on. Ball down from Watkins. Just trickles out a plate for another throw. South starting to get a little bit more possession now. And they're just going to have to work their way gradually back into this game. It's not going to happen all at once. Here's a bit of a flat line again. Knight's onside. Can she make it a hat-trick? Ponting makes it save, and it does go wide. Excellent save by the keeper. Knight made a bit of a sound there. I think going down after that. Didn't look good. It didn't sound good. And she stayed down. It's a very tough customer. Ponting had to go for it. Nothing untoward at all, at least from my vantage point. You do hope that the striker star is okay. Just a twisted ankle or a shoulder even. So physio remains working on the striker's start. I'll give her a bit of privacy while that one works out. Hopefully it's not too serious, but looking tremendous out there for strikers at the moment. South, on the other hand, taking the opportunity to have a team meeting. They need to sort out this high line. It's just slipping into the kind of gap between Sega and Wright as Knight's up, which is a good sign, and walking off. So we'll see if she can continue. I'm sure Coach Ballantyne will just wait for the signal from either the player or the physio. And it was a corner. Ballantyne is Coach Ballantyne looking for a penalty on that occasion. Don't think there was anything untoward in that one. Ponting made a save and just coming together. Probably worth an ask if you're a coach. I probably would myself, but I think rightly the referee not giving a pen on that occasion. Again, without the benefit of a replay up here. And Knight just circling away, just walking up to the halfway line. And physio says she'll carry on. So good news as King takes a corner and straight out of play. Not her best effort. Knight probably taking more of the corners. I know King's on pretty much all the free kicks. But maybe a bit out of practice in that occasion. King stayed up there though. She's sort of reprising her old midfield position. It's a nice bit of feet. Goes around the outside. Capel with the charge down. Sega had to win the ball. Booth's ball's tricky one. Ponting has to go early. It's a decent ball though. Sartos might be away here. It's into Westwood. She goes into the brick wall. That is Abby White. So for mine, best young player this season. South a little bit disorganised again at the back here. Maybe at half-time they almost just need an instruction, say, someone just go with Whitney throughout the rest of the half. Westwood sort of is tracking her a little bit, but then passing her on, and then just not quite working at the back for South Hobart at the moment. Devonport again apply the pressure. That's a lovely run again from Knight. She looks to shoot and runs out of space. Here's Westwood again. Charging through the middle. She's laid out in the process, but good counter pass by Baez. Watkins can't get through Foot and Bidwell. Now Sullivan. Searching ball. Bit of a mucky sort of ball there. Right goes long and Watkins falls over. Smith trying to nod one into her own direction. She'll press the ball again. His Foot. And Smith. It's back to Foot. Knight in a little bit of space. She shoots this time without power. We're just recovering a little bit from that knock. Whitney Knight didn't have good momentum to shoot into that one. Here's Baez. Mamic is in a bit of a threatening area. She's such a good pressure player and causes a bit of a turnover there. Matsatsos can't handle it and then also slips over. Again, the ground playing a little bit of havoc out there. You've seen a few little bobbled shots and it's not the best footing for Matsatsos. Booth can't get through. Here's Westwood. Needs to... Our old centre-back partner right. Again, playing a bit more advanced today, Westwood. I guess that is, I think, to reiterate about this season for South Hobart a little bit. I think Devonport probably would have challenged South's team last season, as good as they were. But without Robertson Choi, makes their midfield a little bit more suspect. It's nicely done by Capel. Here's Knight from long distance. Deflection. It goes to Smith and Ponting able to pick up cleanly. She is long early, looking for Mamic. And she'll have to put King under pressure. Bidwell and King just dealing with any little thing that comes at them. Such confidence. Well done by Hardy. Foot. Booth has a little bit of a dilemma. Probably does the best that she could, given the situation. Knight sticks it in the mixer and Bridget Wright gets it away. Here's Hardy lining one up. Oh, skids through on Ponting a little bit, but she does well. And that muddy box is an absolute challenge for keepers and players. That was a nice attack. Again, Devonport, they're just going to be trying to score goals. They racked up a cricket score on Riverside last week, and a big achievement this week if they can do it again. Just cut in by Emmett. We don't see her too far up the pitch in that sort of position, getting shots on. Well attacked. Here's Knight trying to skip through again. Well done by South on this occasion. Browning doing defensive work. She'll have to get through some traffic. Gets bundled over by Abby White. And doing that screening role. Saying, no, you're not getting out of this sort of torture chamber we're putting you in at the moment, Devonport are. There's White. Stone. Browning with a bit of space this time. Doesn't have a heap of support. Wingers are running away from her. She goes to Booth instead. It's not the worst ball, but Mamic was nowhere near it. And Smith having to run that one down. Ponting again with the muddy... Oh, the muddy box is just a massive challenge. Ponting getting out of that one. It's very, very difficult situations here for South Hobart. It's not quite getting their structures right and getting out in this position here. They're just wanting to run forward each time. No one coming towards the ball. They need someone presenting up forward to hold that ball up for them. They just don't have the focal point at the moment. Westwood. Yeah, another little bit of a dicey clearance and Ponting will come, and I think Knight just again managing to knock a little bit on that occasion. That's nicely done by Watkins. She'll go around two players and gets bundled over. The advantage is paid and Byers in some space now. She's streaking away on the left wing. Decent hoof inside looking for Mamic. And Watkins trying to get some energy going for the South team. Ball's cut out by Emmett. Here's Knight. Sega under pressure. I think she's under a little bit more pressure than she's actually under. And this time, now sees she's got time. Plays Westwood. That's a lovely movement. Touch lets her down a little bit though. Well done by Booth. McSartsos and Emmett just showing her how to play. Here's Capel. And away by Browning. It's just been a complete first half performance here by the Strikers. 3 goals to the good at the moment. And haven't looked like being under any sort of pressure. Big challenge by Foot. Got ball and then got player. Sega's a little bit ginger getting up from that one. Knight's slicing ball stays in. Sullivan. Good feet. Tees it up to the top of the box, and Byers reading that one a little bit better than Foot did with the recovery challenge. Just the pressure that Devonport are applying on these turnovers up forward. South have no time on the ball whatsoever. It's nicely done by Watkins. Need Watkins and Byers to really get going here. And showing some sparks of life. Ball looking for Mamich. It might squeeze her way through. And White just uses her body. I'll have none of that. Nicely into Westwood. And again, it's not really finding the penetration that they'd like, South Hobart. Looking slightly better in this last 5 minutes, but can't quite get the support around each player that they need to. Devonport just playing a complete brand of football. And shown how to play by Browning. Oh, lovely touch by Knight. And Booth alerts the danger, and that's a nice clearance. Now, a quick little direct ball. Emmett nearly goes over on the throw. A muddy patch on. Well, there's a few of those on the ground at the moment. Knight knifing her way through again. And can't find the range on that pass. But just a joy to behold how she moves through the game and just the angles that she creates. Here she is again. Turns the corner. Finds Capel. Goes into the danger area. Batchelor. Finds Mamich. Does she have any support? She's got Matsatsos out wide. Really in a one-on-one. Goes around Emmett for King. Sweeping up as ever. But only as far as Browning. Nice feet from Aaliyah Browning. Oh, a little bit short from Matsatsos. And again sliding around a little bit. The South Hobart winger. Launched away. Westwood. Foot. Browning again. Direct ball in. Mamiches the hair and just eludes the South Hobart striker. That's the best piece of play from South Hobart today. Good ball in from Matsatsos. And Tom Ballantyne just getting a little bit worried about his fullback. She's very aggressive in there throughout the season and served her well, but Matsatsos just starting to get in the game a little bit here. And just eluding Mamich at full stretch. But Devonport have been in control, and they won't want to relinquish that at all. South Hobart get a goal here just before half-time. Still a long way to go. It may just give them a little sniff of hope the rest of the game. As Westwood and Booth challenge each other. Here's Knight wanting to release. Wright turns around with Smith. Little hold from Bridget Wright, but nothing given. I think that was just delicate enough to gain her feet and slow Smith down. White goes early, hits her own player, gets it again. Foot. Knight, it's in behind again. It's Knight! What a goal from Whitney Knight. Our first half hat-trick. And 4-0 to Devonport. You just see the swing of momentum there. South Hobart, their best chance of the game. And Devonport, you lose Whitney Knight again, and she'll make you pay. A German hat-trick for Whitney Knight. 3 goals in a half. And just as a bit of a commentator's curse there, where you say, oh, South Hobart just starting to get the momentum. Maybe I'll get a goal before half-time and see how the game will go from there. But now it's 4. That's a very, very different equation for the team in the navy blue and the red. So I want to pull one back early now, saying it's also not worth rushing. I think probably interesting to see sort of what Alistair Russell does at half. Whether there's any sort of changes in shape or personnel. I think the formation they've got is the right one, but they just don't have the players sort of ticking in sync at the moment. And at the back, they just need to pick up Whitney Knight. I know it's old-fashioned, but I think at this level, still can work. Just player marking, or at least just got to have awareness of Knight. He's punished you 3 times already, and 2 or 3 of them, they've just lost her completely. And you just cannot do that to a player of her class and calibre. It's not going to go well for you. That's a good ball off to Mamich. She'll go around the outside. Does she have anyone in the box? She's got Watkins streaking at the back post and likes to go on her own and puts it well over the bar. Again, has been a little bit better from South over the last 10 minutes or so. I know they've conceded as well. Starting to at least threaten Devonport's goal here, which first half an hour of this game, could not say. Devonport comfortable throughout that period. That's a nice ball to 2 Devonport players. Capel's on the run. All right, we'll cut it out. Byers has time. Goes wide to Matsatsos. It's been a good barometer for South. That's a bit of a chaotic ball. King heads away. That's a sister, and she'll go long. And how to play. Devonport now just soaking up the pressure a little bit more. And I was just sort of talking about their flexibility earlier in the game, and throughout this season that's been a real feature of their play, how they've been able to defend for periods when they've needed to, play on the break when they've needed to, but equally play pressing football, play possession football. Again, that's what you want as a coach, versatility, playing all 3, 4 facets of the game. There's Westwood trying to find Matsatsos. Again, that's looking like the outlet that South need to keep pursuing, just down this right-hand side. And it's been a resolute defender throughout the whole season. But Matsatsos, I think, starting to cause a few issues just with directness and quick feet. It's nice from foot. And Knight takes another tumble on the ground. It's Yeah, it's hard work out there, footing-wise. Want the long stops for sure. And make sure you're warmed up correctly. Here's Matsatsos again, trying to release Booth. Didn't really have the width. Here's White. And out for another goal kick. Being able to play a little bit more in this half. Have South Hobart. Devonport, one or two little moments that maybe caused some panic throughout the defensive line, but for the most part, pretty clean and comfortable for the team in yellow as a free kick gets pulled up. And the Strikers in no rush to take this. I think they'll be very happy to go into the sheds at 4-0 up at half-time, especially against the main rival in the league. Although it will be a little battle just to keep the eye on. I know sort of pigeonholed South as one of the second team throughout this year, obviously as defending champions, but Canberra are sneaking up on them. Still 3 points between them. That's a decent ball from Matsatsos. Well away by Emmett. King. Byers has been really probably the spark for South Hobart in this sort of last 15 minutes or so. Just open it up, running a little bit more and trying to play a bit more attacking. Ponting opts for the emergency option. Didn't have a lot on, especially on her right foot. And can Devonport hit a fifth here? 5-0 in the first half would be almost unprecedented of, say, of a first versus second matchup. Mamich trying to get around a corner. Does so. I think she's getting hold. Thought she was getting held and does get a free kick. After a little bit of protestation to the referee. His foot again. That's a decent ball. Cannot win the one-on-one again. Gives it a shove and then puts it into the side netting again. On the left foot this time. That's 4 goals in the first half for Whitney Knight. Putting on an absolute clinic here at Darcy Street. I think any player could learn from the type of finishing we've seen. I think she's only had maybe 1 shot off target so far. And the rest have pretty much found the back of the net. And she's able to get around Seeger on that occasion. And it is 5-0 to Devonport. And after putting the ink on the dotted line last week of signed, sealed and delivered champions, this is a real emphatic victory in the books here, and it's only the first half. I've seen stranger things in soccer, but it's going to be one of the best games you'll ever see if South Hobart come back from here. So we'll see how it will play out in the second half. There can't be much time remaining here. As Anderson just trying to wind down the clock just a little bit. He's right. Big slide from Hardy. She loses her footing. Good ball into Watkins and slices across. And that will be half-time, an emphatic half of football from the Devonport Strikers. 5-0 at half-time going into the sheds with 4 goals to Whitney Knight and a crazy little looping goal from...
How do icons stay relevant? They evolve. And there's nothing like bacon and crispy onions for reinventing yourself. Now you have 3 icons to try.
The half grew into the game, but haven't been able to stop the key strike.
Our McCafe blend isn't just barista crafted across Australia. Our beans are also sourced from Kenya, Honduras, Ethiopia and Brazil, then roasted in Melbourne. Just another reason it's coffee fit for it.
How do icons stay relevant? They evolve. And there's nothing like bacon and crispy onions for reinventing yourself. Now you have 3 icons to try.
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Excellent. See ya.
And welcome back to Darcy Street for this round 19 matchup of the WSL between South Hobart and Devonport. Score somewhat surprisingly remains at 5-0 to Devonport. It's been a very complete display, especially with the finishing of Whitney Knight on display today. 4 goals to the Strikers' star and 1 to Lucy Foote as well. South Hobart didn't start the game well at all. I think 2-0 down within the first 12 minutes. And they did work their way back in a little bit. They just haven't been able to manage Knight effectively and created a few little opportunities, but nothing to challenge the now champions of the WSL this season. My name's Alex Mummery. Thank you again for joining us here on the Football Tasmania streams. It's all set and ready to go. The clouds have just come in.
How do icons stay relevant? They evolve. And there's nothing like bacon and crispy onions for reinventing yourself. Now you have 3
Wet and wild games, at least yesterday in the heavy conditions in the NPL. And Hobart looking to respond early here in the mud. I think Alistair Russell, you could see, wasn't happy with how they played in that first half. Actually, just the effort and engagement, not quite there with the disappointment of I guess, losing the title last week. I think it was always the inevitability that Devonport would win it in the next few weeks, but I think they were circling this date on the calendar to formally make that a reality. And South coming out with a bit more purpose in this second half now. Mamich is trying to hunt one down. It's Mamich! Well blocked. And well away by Bidwell. That is more like it from South Hobart. Just wandering a little bit ponderous through some of this game. I think they've also got tactical things they needed to sort out as well. At least they're engaged here and wanting to show some pride against a strong outfit, admittedly. And linesman on the far side has called the keeper for just carrying that one over. I think Anderson, the keeper, was not expecting that to be called at all. And this might be a little bit of a controversial one if South manage to score. It's not the best corner from Matsatos, but it evades the front post block. Is away in the end by Foote. Straight into Smith. Chased down by Wright. And away by Westwood. And South looking a bit more intent in the second half, but Sullivan does enough. Trying to find Foot up the line. Sliced her ball a little bit out of play. Westwood looking for the ball here. Go to Watkins instead. Turns the corner. Might want her left foot. Definitely a fairly two-footed player, but again, playing on their natural side. Westwood having to really work to maintain possession there. Ponting. Batchelor. He's got Foot for company. And South supporters just geeing the girls up a little bit here. Liking the energy that they've come out with. It's more than energy than they'll need to make a dent into this strikers lead. I think for them they will just want to make sure that they're playing with enough pride today. Again, hasn't been that close of a title race. Probably, as I said earlier, almost more of a interesting battle for second here in the league, with Kingborough potentially overtaking, well, at least drawing level with South Hobart. Oh, Watkins just copping one in the side of the face there. She's okay. Devonport play on anyway. Capel. Sensing just a little bit of rain coming here. Knight again, that's a decent ball. Away by Wright. Capel hunting the ball down here. Foot. Hardy. Oh, blocked by Baez. Matsatsas just launches it. It's not a bad ball. Mamich on her bike. Bidwell pulls the jumper and slows her down. The referee paid advantage there. That has, or maybe didn't pay anything at all. Has to be a foul there. I'd be absolutely livid if I was on the South Hobart bench. Mamich was clean through there. At least a yellow card for that one. Nothing doing. And now Devonport are in. Capel one-on-one. Goes around the keeper. Offside. Just end-to-end stuff. Start the second half here at Darcy Street. And Mamich really pleading her case. Did well. Doing well to slow her down in the end. Here's Watkins now with the pressure, trying to poke it through. Bidwell away this time. He's right. Just a cut inside, blocked by Foot. And away by Sullivan. And South, much more intent in the second half. You just kind of wonder where this was in the first. Might always get to Matsatsos. Well poked away by Emmett. Big sliding challenge. Booth will get there first, but can only go as far as Capel. Emmett just following through on the challenge there, and the referee does call that one. This is the sort of intensity that I was sort of expecting in this game, and it's taken 45 minutes to get there. Booth. Baez. He's got Batchelor wide. Turns on it. It's blocked off well by Foot, though. And splits from Knight to retain possession for Devonport. Bad bobble for Smith. Baez will take advantage. Watkins. Needs support. Doesn't have it. Well done by Foot. A real feature of Lucy Foot's play this season tracking from up top. Now Capel, she'll run forward. Booth gets the ball and can't get through Capel to maintain possession. A foot race between Watkins and Sullivan, and this game just coming into life here. Let's take another pause to just get the balls under control. Match manager's coming in a little bit late. And out for another throw. So on to Browning. Abby White and play a through ball. Here's Bridget Wright. Going to weave her way through. Another foul spotted by the referee. See Wright trying to kind of get a bit of drive from the back line. South do need to find kind of overloads in any place they can. Batchelor goes up and around. Foot. Nice ball tonight. She goes wide. Ball in. Ponting comes and claims. Nice and safe for the South Hobart keeper and tries to go along with the throw. Does get to Matsatos in the end. Runs right again. Porter finding their shape. Foot will have a bit of work to do here, though. Browning's ball is well behind Watkins. She's disappointed with herself. Just dropping Browning back a little bit this half. Maybe being a little bit more effective. South Hobart. It's well played by White. Excellent feat by Knight. She went over early, I think, there. There wasn't too much contact, but earns the free kick. Just enough to set her off balance, and that will be the sort of range that Georgia King likes. Straight out in front, and you'd say maybe out of the range of most other people in both leagues of Tasmanian football, but she normally goes for these and tries to find the side netting this time. This time does skew away. South make a substitution here with Graciela Baez coming off. And Emily Flies coming on. Flies was one of the better players in that first half, just at the tail end of the first half. And opting to change things up here, Alistair Russell. Here's right. They let the play out here, South. Batchelor going direct this time. Can manage, put Bidwell under pressure again. Bidwell just takes it out of play. Batchelor throws it into Westwood. Nice feet from the captain. Here's Smith. Finds Capel. And bouncing ball. Well pressured by Smith. And the bobble in the middle part of the pitch is causing havoc. Batchelor gets the call from Watkins. Needs to release. She's got players around her here, though. She can get it. Browning plays it well. 1-2. Devonport wanting a foul there. It's a decent ball from Watkins. Taken down by Mamich. She had more time than she thought on the left foot. And skews it away. Devonport still managing to keep this clean sheet. As the weather just starting to get it a little bit torrid here. at Darcy Street. Wind starting to pick up. Lighting conditions not the best. And hopefully the rain will stay away. Georgia Anderson with the kick out. Flies with a big header over the top. And we'll be able to play against South with a better energy in this second half. On the best touch from Westwood. Knight slips over again. It's just a fact of life today. People are just taking slips. Sartos with the chaos ball. It does find its way to Watkins. Well tackled by Foot. Big challenge. And Westwood trapped it in there. Mamich goes around. Westwood just maintain the tempo here. Batchelor. Westwood again. That's a decent ball. Can Batchelor get there before Sullivan? It's low. It's away by Bidwell. Knight's in space here. This is what Devonport want to see. Get her in space. She'll go direct in the Smith direction. Right, little header up in the air. Fairly comfortable for Ponting. South playing with better pace in this second half. Much more attacking intent. And Ismet Sartsos. Batchelor. South able to have a bit more control in this second half. Batchelor searching again. She comes forward. She takes the tumble. So does Watkins. A lot of slipping and sliding out there at the moment. Anderson ends up taking advantage of some of the loose footing. And she absolutely sends it up forward. Well done by Wright to head that one forward. Batchelor, Foot, comes to Watkins. Back heel, specky back heel there. Browning, back to Watkins. This is much better from South Hobart. 1-2 again. Watkins goes on the right foot. It's just over the bar. South Hobart starting to play some better stuff here in the second half. And Watkins slipped over as she shot that one. Not challenging Anderson's net though. But the intent, this is the sort of stuff that Alistair Russell would be wanting to see from his players. Devonport managing the game well, though. Again, they're 5-0 up. They don't have to panic here. And they can just do what they need to do. Here's Watkins. Is around Browning. If you want a right foot, goes back inside and can't get it. And Knight undercooked the pass a little bit. Well done by Batchelor. She's coming to the game nicely in the second half. Mutsatos goes around one, but not around another. And collected again by Sega. It's Mutsatos. And a little bit out of control there by South Hobart. Throws a little bit waywards. Don't know if that came back in. It did, so they'll turn over possession for Booth to take. Flipped over the top by Mutsatos. Again, no one really on the end of these sorts of balls, and that's an excellent ball. Raking pass out to the left-hand side of the field. Capel tries to set Knight back up. Her little through ball doesn't come off. Now South might be out here. Booth running forward. A little bit too hot for Mutsatos. And out of play again. Again, South bringing the energy here, but need the end product to match it. Knight. Into foot. Smith was in space. Question of offside, but doesn't matter in the end because Sega will retain possession for South Hobart. Batchelor. Her ball a little bit behind Watkins, and Tom Ballantyne will make his first sub, as will Alistair Russell. Both teams opting for substitutions, with Emily Smith coming off. And player sort of they're working on for the future. Tried hard up there, but and made good space for Whitney Knight, to be fair. And it'll be Kyan Harvey coming on for Devonport. And just trying to see what the substitution was for South Hobart. Might be Mutsatos, who's come off. Potentially Amy Ollington. Amy Ollington is on that wing for South Hobart. Hasn't played much this season, but regular in previous years. Oh, that's a bit of a half volley, and Knight so pounds it over the bar. Did well to get onto the end of that, to be fair. Bouncing the ball and half volleyed over the top. It's well done by Watkins. She's trying to work a bit of space for herself. Boost ball does find Ollington. It's nice feet. She plays it forward to Flies. And South will continue their increased energy in this second half. Flies to Mamich. She looks to turn. Doesn't have any support. Trying to tee someone up. And no one coming. Can Devonport counter? They can't. Batchelor cuts that one out and finds Watkins. That's a better ball from Batchelor this time. She'll go around. And Bidwell, just for the storming challenge, judged it perfectly. Watkins just lost her feet just slightly. Now Bidwell will try and drive forward. It's a 1-2. Bidwell wins that one. Can they release Harvey? Will come to Knight in the end. Stays on side. Knight going for another goal. Ponting bumbles it. And it's charged over. And Kyan Harvey, the substitute, following that one in well. Ponting appealing for a free kick. It just couldn't get there in time. That will be a 6th goal for Devonport. Whitney Knight again in the action, setting that one up, but good pressure from Harvey. Hasn't been a part of the squad really for much of this season, and maybe working her way up through the levels, and it'll be a pleasing goal for the squad. And South, for all their endeavour in this second half, again, nothing to show for it. And Devonport showing that clinical side of things. Bidwell snuffing out the attack and then turning it into offence. Just great team play. Batchelor just taking her time, trying to get it in maybe a little bit longer. Didn't eventuate. Big call for handball, nothing given. Batchelor. It's got Flies at the top. She'll move it to Booth. Let's have Ollington out wide. Well done by Emmett to attack it and retain possession. Emmett did very well on an island there, surrounded by red shirts. Booth's ball is a little bit nervy. And you don't want to put that in the Whitney Knight direction. She'll get another chance at this. This time flies. Does get on the end of it. Batchelor. That ball into Mamich. Turns the corner. And away. Little hop over Foot's feet. South just turning the ball over again. Now Knight on the run again. Has right for company this time. Tries to go around her. Just chips it up. Sega with the body. Holds her up just enough. Knight again. It's two red shirts for company. Tees it up at the top of the box. Nice play from Foot. She just decides to slow play it this time. Hardy wants Sullivan, but marked by Watkins. That's better defence from South Hobart, forcing strikers back. Maybe White, though. Nice feet. Can't link up with Knight, and Bridget Wright comes away with it. She might have to go alone here if she wants to drive forward. Doesn't have any support at all, the centre back. She just decides to hold it up, and it's big versus small. Yeah, bit of a height difference between Wright and White. It's a bit of a mouthful, this matchup with the Whites, Knights and Wrights. It's a good ball for Watkins. Again, South Hobart finding it a little bit more. Westwood to Wright again. It's Booth overlapping. It's a difficult ball, but finds flies. Ball sat down for Westwood well. Here's Ollington. Then South get a goal in this game. Flies. Using her body well. Into Westwood again. And it's better from South Hobart, but again, no way through. Batchelor. And Sega. Harvey for company. The best touch from Watkins, and Foot will sneak it away. Back up to Sullivan. And Batchelor, she's got a little bit of time. Browning wheels around and eludes Harvey. Nice feet. Ref plays advantage. Can't play the central ball into Mamich. Just trying to find her feet. I think that's really almost the difference between these two sides. It's just that central defensive kind of simpatico between King and Bidwell. They just managed Mamich so well, and Knight's movement is just a little bit different, and always got to have someone watching her, and they just don't always have someone alert to that danger. I have to credit a better performance in the second half with South. Here's Knight again. Sega overruns it. And she get another one. It's well saved by Ponting. Does recover. Harvey's getting in the way of Knight. Knight gets it again. Knight again. A big block from Sega. And they're just doing enough to keep her off the score sheet, South Hobart. Big goal mouth scramble. Just take a little breather after action in the goal mouth. Still 6-0 to Devonport. 20 minutes to go. Now the game is getting underway out of KG5. That will be of some interest to South Hobart supporters. Again, this Knights team have been a great surprise to many of the WSL. Oh, that's a good corner coming in, and Batchelor chested away well and clears it in the Mamich direction. They want a handball. Excellent little agile turn from Mamich. She's got it all to do. Flies. It's on the end, and she Wanted a run from one of our other attackers. It didn't come off. Browning. Got space. Foot working hard back. And Foot. Excellent defensive work from Lucy Foot. Doesn't shirk that responsibility at all. It can be very easy to do so if you're playing right wing. And there will be a free kick here. Westwood will trot up and try and launch it in the box. And it's been trying conditions down that end of the field, so if it bounces in there, it will be chaos. Headed out by Bidwell. Sullivan will just clear. It's away by right, well in by Flies. Away by Bidwell. Batchelor launches that one to Foot. Foot just laughs it off. It wasn't too painful. Didn't look too comfortable for the Strikers veteran. Get it back to White. Nice turn. And classy. Bidwell doesn't catch that one well. Upset with herself and managed Nick's in front of her this time. Booth will beat Capel to it. And away again. This time by King. She's trying to work forward. Hardy. It's a lovely little ball for Knight. Got Watkins on her hammer. Uses her body well to shield off. He's right. Flies. Booth again. And they've encountered a roadblock at every sort of angle, South Hobart, and they've been able to get it to this position. Browning, she'll shoot, and almost for South Hobart. Deflected away and out for a corner. Westwood coming up to take. And slightly different look on the set pieces. Again, a little bit of rain just about here at Darcy Street. Not heavy or anything yet. Westwood's ball's a decent one. Keeper comes and does get it in the end. A little bit of a half chance at the feet of Ollington. Well in by Batchelor. Half kind of volley. And into right. Batchelor. Ball will come through and away by Watkins.
Sorry.
Thanks. Just evaluating the plays, Anderson. Just taking a bit of time out of the game now. I think they just want to settle it just a touch here. Again, pace that Angie South Hobart have been able to bring in the second half has been a lot better. And Capel will come through the middle. Oh, big slide in by Hardy. Got the ball there. Batchelor. Toe in. Westwood. Just playing a little bit more advanced now. South really trying to push for a goal here. It's been a couple of clean sheets. Devonport have kept it. Darcy Street now. And I'll try and push through wide. Wellington wanting a free kick, but nothing doing. And there's Tom Ballantyne just preparing his last two subs. I'll take them momentarily as Foot will come away. And gets away through some flying challenges. Hardy with another back heel. She's been pulling out the bag of tricks in the second half. Westwood. Batchelor goes direct this time. Bidwell. Watkins tries to head in the direction of Mamich. She will get there. And he's offside. South again banging the head against a bit of a brick wall at the moment. They're looking a lot better, but no results to show for it. And Devonport will make two substitutions with Sullivan coming off. Isabella Taylor coming on, number 4, and Michaela Goss coming on for Samantha Hardy. The veterans of this team, and sort of looking through Paul Hunt's list of WSL winners. Definitely check that out if you can find his little historical drive. This will be Devonport's first championship in the women's side in the WSL. Again, we've been around since around 2016, seeing earlier. But you have to remember that Ulverston did have that season, I think it was 2019 or 2018, where they went unbeaten. And I think that can be a bit of a, with the likes of, I guess, Hardy, Foot involved as well, and Capel too. It's that mix of veteran experience and youth as well coming through at Devonport. It just does make them a formidable side. But so it has been a bit of a trend in the WSL with unbeaten champions, sort of one dominant team, even with South Hobart on paper. Throughout this season, you thought, well, maybe they'll challenge. And only the real only blemish for Devonport has been that draw up against Glenorchy Knights earlier. It's a decent ball through for Foot. And Taylor not able to work her way through. Substitute. Capel. Oh, it's a late challenge by Watkins. And it's foul. And definitely a late challenge. And free kick given. King will send it in long. If this was central position, I'd say maybe Georgia King would have a go, but don't think from this sort of angle he'd be trying anything like that. It's a decent ball to the back stick, though. A few players jump, falls to a yellow shirt. Bidwell, and over the bar. She's offside, though. I think not finding her way up that end of the pitch too often, unlike her brothers. Goes through all night, almost with another opportunity. As the rain just starting to fall a little bit more heavy now. Not 10 minutes to go. I don't think it's going to have a massive impact on the outcome. Obviously, fairly big lead to Devonport. It's really about whether South can score here. I think for Devonport, they'll be very happy if they can keep another clean sheet here at Darcy Street. Knight trying to work her way through. She can't find it. Well done by Foot. Away by Capel. Taylor. Harvey. Foot to Knight. Harvey again, touch a little bit heavy, and Batchelor gets it to Watkins. Goes around Capel. Now, they've got two players over here, South Hobart. Mamich has come wide, and well done by Harvey, tracking all the way back. And I think that did take a touch off Watkins. Foot in particular protesting for a Devonport throw. South Hobart will manage to at least have one throw. Mamich, ball goes up in the air. Stay in. She'll just evade the South Hobart striker. And I think a bit of a, I don't want to say it's been a damn squid of a game, because it definitely hasn't been out on the field, but just with the, I guess, the ramifications of the title already sewn up, just maybe South Hobart just coming up a little bit flat after the letdown last week against Knights. And again, Knights just showing you just can't take them lightly at all. A team that will be building for the future and for the right now as well. That's nicely done. This time by South. Hollington. Touch isn't the best, and she cops one right in the chest. It's up well, though. A little bit ginger. Westwood with the early ball. King. Watkins, can she find it? Big clash at the back post. And Watkins will get a yellow card. Didn't get the ball, not the player. I think she was after the ball there, but potentially after that late sliding challenge. Just eats the game's first slice of cheese. That was it. Harvey having to put her body on the line there. Didn't get there. That would have been a good opportunity for Watkins. Nice from Harvey and Foot. Beautiful football. Capel, her ball is really in the direction of anyone. What? Westwood. Mamich took a bit of a slide in front of her. Again, that's very hard work up that end of the ground to keep footing. Batchelor. On to Mamich. Again, is very difficult. Nice from Harvey. He's working hard. Browning. Taylor. And Knight not able to get through right this time. They managed her a lot better in this second half. Minnie Knight just had her a little bit more in the back of their minds, I think, South Hobart defence. Westwood managing well this time. Browning with the early shot. And triggers into the arms of Anderson. He says, I will lean on that one. Take it pretty easily. Five minutes to go here at Darcy Street, and really what has been a celebration of the Strikers' title-winning season. They'll have one more game to play next week. And South Hobart having to play another couple of games with the Riverside catch-up game that got washed out. That will be as tacked-on round just at the end of the season, just to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Devonport come away with the ball. Westwood tracking back hard. Ollington. Goss will get there first. Maybe White in space. Quite a game from White, but sort of just playing that strong positional role, making it hard for the likes of Browning, and managed to barnstorm their way through. I think Devonport really place a strong emphasis against South Hobart of not giving them space centrally, forcing them wide. And King and Anderson easily controlling, and now just making sure that they keep a clean sheet and really assert their dominance on this WSL title. I think this was the last real hurdle that they've had to come through. And next week, they'll celebrate it in front of the home fans. They will have Kingborough next week, and then after that night, so two rounds to go. It's a decent corner. Westwood goes again early this time and puts it away. Sophie Westwood gets a consolation goal for South Hobart. Nice left-footed finish in the top bins, and they'll be happy with that. It's been a much better second half for South. At least get something out of this game. And Devonport, I think in some ways will be a little bit disappointed they haven't kept another clean sheet at Darcy Street. It had been a very good defensive effort, and it's taken some shot to beat this defence. That's exactly what they needed, but it's going to be too little too late, you'd imagine. I don't think I've ever seen 5 goals in stoppage time before, but have learned not to count chickens before they hatch in this role. Went on by Booth. She'll get it out to Batchelor. As the rain does start to really fall a little bit harder here at Darcy Street. Again, nothing too heavy or uncomfortable. We don't even mind that as a player. It's sort of later in the game. Cooling down a bit. Browning launches it forward. Ollington's going to run at it though. Anderson says, my ball. And she'll launch it forward. Sega, good header. Strong header. Flyers trying to run after it. White will go around the corner. That's well done by Flyers. And the strength of Abby White on show there. Just bouncing off the defensive midfielder for Devonport. Well in. Nice feet from Ollington. Little spin. Ball's a bit lower. Ricochets off Flyers. South on the cards for another one here. Here's Browning. Watkins. Away by Harvey. He's come back. Had a bit of a run at the striker and has come back up to fullback with the other 2 subs on. And away by Browning. A little bit ragged there from South. Still pushing in the second half. I think Alistair Russell will be much happier with how they played in the second game. Well out of reach by that point. So Whitney Knight whirlwind in the first half. Here goes Watkins. Nice feet from Watkins. Can she shoot? Straight to the keeper, though. Weaved her way through, and that will be that. An emphatic 6-1 victory to put the icing of the cake on last week's confirmation of the title for Devonport. In a big first half win with 4 goals to Whitney Knight of note. A complete performance from Devonport. South had a better second half, that's for sure, but definitely weren't at the races in the first half, so they'll be wanting to finish off the last couple of games strongly with an extra catch-up game on the end. Make sure they'll be second place, but they'll have Kingbird breathing down there next. But for Devonport, they'll travel back up to Valley Road next week, celebrate that title in front of their home fans. So all smiles for Devonport. Another big hurdle tested. Thank you so much for joining me for this game. The top of the table clash in the WSL. My name's Alex Mummery, and you'll be joining us for the run-in for the rest of the season. Exciting NPL season and last couple of games in the WSL as well. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.